Alright Nintendo, I need you to listen to me right now because I ain't playing these games anymore. You got me on Donkey Kong. I went out and bought that a second time. You got me on Hyrule Warriors. You got me on Bayonetta 2. I even went out and bought Lego City Undercover a second time. And I have both Pokken Tournament and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe downloaded onto my Switch. But Toad Treasure Tracker isn't something you're gonna burn me on a second time. I bought this double pack because I thought it looked pretty cool, and then I never even opened it. I just didn't have that much interest in the game. So why would I go out and buy a game for a second time when I didn't even play it the first time? Nintendo, you ain't gonna get me again. Oh, damn it! Alright, fine. Let's play Toad Treasure Tracker on the Switch and see if I should have played it the first time, I guess. And I gotta give credit to RGT85, who, for the first time in a very long time, made me laugh in one of his videos, so I completely stole his joke and I think did it better. Oh, and by the way, Nintendo provided me with a review code of this game. This ain't no code, I went out and bought this physical and I gave the code away in a live stream, as I always do. Again, I like to mention that so you guys know that I do have money invested into this, so when I say if it's worth it or not, my own money is actually on the line. I'm a collector and I have to buy everything, and I enjoy giving the codes away in live streams. So next time you see me live streaming, remember to come hang out because you might win a free game. Subscribe, by the way, and hit the bell because you'll get notified. With Octopath Traveler and Toad Treasure Tracker coming out on the same day, Nintendo Switch gamers across the world were presented with a choice. And so a lot of you may be watching this video to figure out whether or not you should go with this game or this game. And while my review of this one is gonna take a little longer because the game takes a little longer to finish, we can dive into Treasure Tracker and see if, in its own right, it's worth buying. You guys have no idea how much I do want to talk about this game right now, though. I need to play more of it first, but holy moly. I think at this point, it's pretty much a given that the entire exclusive Wii U library is gonna find its way to the Switch. Even third-party games that were made exclusively for the system are being ported to the Switch now, like Runbow. Because the Wii U didn't sell that well, and a lot of these games are super fun, and they should not be overlooked or forgotten about on a dead system. I mean, heck, at this point, I think there's only Super Mario Maker and Tokyo Mirage Sessions left to port over, and that's if they don't make a sequel for those games like they did for Splatoon and Xenoblade. So if indeed that does end up being the case, Toad Treasure Tracker might be the last Wii U port we get on the Switch. In fact, as of right now, it's the last one we know of for sure. And I really don't know why I didn't invest that much time into it. I did play it back on the day on a friend's Wii U, but I just didn't fall in love with it. It wasn't something that I was dying to rip open and tear into. But I did actually really enjoy the concept of the game. As a lot of you know, I'm a retro gamer. My channel started on retro gaming, so moving into a newer age, a lot of these indie games became some of my favorites. Loads of new games being made that were like the retro games I loved, but better. And there was something about Treasure Tracker that just felt like a Nintendo indie game. Albeit very polished, but it felt kind of indie. It reminded me of Fez, where you had these big obstacle courses, these big floating areas that you could flip the camera around to see other angles, and you actually had to utilize that mechanic to complete challenges and to reach your goal. With hidden areas and secrets that you wouldn't otherwise know were there unless you're constantly flipping the world around and looking in every single nook and cranny. I've always found that expression kind of gross, nook and cranny. I don't know why I say it all the time. On top of that, this game is a perfect extension on top of the Mario universe. In fact, they just kind of throw you into the game, and without too much instruction, without telling you what to do, you can sort of just figure everything out. Even though a lot of it is new to you, it's still the Mario universe. And if you've played Mario games or you've grown up on Mario games, it's all sort of just second nature at this point. Even though it's new, it's still the same, but in a very fresh way. They do a great job at making making every level feel very fresh. And when you go through the levels so quickly and there are so many levels, you find yourself wanting to play one more level and one more level because each level feels new. And something I actually really like is even though the game is about 7 hours long, if you don't go back through and try and collect everything, it's about 7 hours long. It's broken down into individual chapters that tell their own little story and then you get credits at the end. So recently when I was live streaming this, I actually finished the entire first chapter in an hour and a half.
It's been a long time since I played this game, but there's more levels after this, right? Like, that's not the whole thing. Did I just finish the game in an hour and a half? It says the end. It can't be. It can't be. There's more. There's definitely more. That's just the end of the first little chapter. See? Boom. That makes me feel like I never got to episode 2 when I played it on Wii U.
And I really like the little story that it told. You have to go and rescue the pink toad from this giant bird, with all these creative levels on the way and even a little story piece right in the middle, and then a really creative and unique boss battle at the end that was a lot of fun to solve, and then it's all wrapped up in a neat bow and you continue on to the next chapter. And I really feel like $40 is an appropriate price tag for this game. To be perfectly frank, any less than $40 and I'd feel like I'm actually ripping Nintendo off. $30 on sale would be a great price for this game, but that's the lowest I would say this game is worth. Anything less than that is an absolute steal. Because it really is a decent length for a game, and with the collectible side of things, there's a lot of replayability. You can also go back through and complete different challenges for each world, and there's a little toad that hides in some of the levels once you beat them, and then you go in the world and play hide and seek and try and find it. And then of course, if you did play the Wii U version, if you were one of those people, and you were interested in picking it up again, you can play the Switch version in 2 players, so pull off those Joy-Cons and throw one at a brother or loved one and hit them right between the eyes and tell them it's time to play some Toad.
Hi, actually, as I'm editing this right now, I'm stealing 2-player co-op footage from Kayagma. So thank you, Kayagma, for that, because I never actually played the 2-player myself. I assumed just by the marketing and seeing that little girl Toad that you would both play together. I made that natural assumption because I thought, why wouldn't that be the thing? It turns out all the second player does is they have a little cursor and they throw turnips at the screen, which is just about the lamest thing I can think of. So completely scratch that. I don't see a reason to ever play this 2-player, and it's not a feature I would recommend buying the game for. That sucks. That's lame. That's little to no effort. It wouldn't have been hard to throw another Toad on the screen, and it would have actually added some level of enjoyment. This is lazy. Nah, it's all back to the video.
And then you also have brand new levels based on Mario Odyssey, and those levels are actually pretty cool. So if I can be brutally honest, while I do believe that this game is fully worth the $40 price tag, and a lot of people will have so much fun with it, it's a very polished game, a perfect addition to the Mario universe, a great job by Nintendo. It reminds me of a lot of indie games. There's love, there's passion, there's heart. If I can be honest, it's still really not for me. There's something about it that I never really was interested in. I didn't really want to play it on Wii U. I'm playing it now on Switch, and it is fun, but while I'm playing it, I can't help but think to myself, I'd rather play something else. So I think Kim would really enjoy this game, and I want to try and get her to play it because I think she'd have a ton of fun with it. I have so much to play right now, and maybe that's all it is. Maybe that's the same thing that stopped me playing it on Wii U. There is just so much to play, and I'm not on the edge of my seat while I'm playing this game. And honestly, if I wasn't a YouTube reviewer or a Nintendo Switch collector, I probably would have skipped this one again. But that is just a personal preference. I can't deny that this game is really fun, and again, definitely worth the price tag. If you love indie puzzle games like Fez, or you just like puzzles in general, or you're just in love with the Mario universe, or you think Toad is adorable, which a lot of people don't, especially when he takes his creepy hat off, which apparently isn't canon, but it is still really creepy. Regardless of all of that, if you think this game looks fun, then you'll probably have a lot of fun with it. If you think it looks kind of boring, or there's other things you might want to play right now, yeah, you probably won't have a ton of fun with it. If you're really looking to play a 2-player game, I wouldn't rush out and buy this one immediately. And there's not really any puzzles built around having 2 players, so you kind of just find yourself with someone else there. So maybe if you had a little brother and they really wanted to play with you, it'd be a lot of fun for them. But for 2 people trying to strategically solve puzzles together, there's probably better 2-player puzzle games out there where you actually find yourself working together. And so that's my take on Toad Treasure Tracker. Yes, it's absolutely worth buying. satisfying and worth that $40, assuming it's something you think you might enjoy. Maybe you want Octopath instead. That review is coming really soon. Subscribe so you don't miss that review. Click this video right here because you missed it the first time, didn't you? And if you're sat there saying, no, I didn't miss it, well, click it anyway. In fact, it just changed, so now you have a new one to click on. Oh, and I'm giving away a code for Octopath Traveler. Click that link down below if you want to win this game. And with that, I'm Octopath Traveling out of here.